My favorite book of the month of August is Welcome to Surviving in Books, where life is nuts, so let's dive into great reads. We are doing our August reading wrap-up, and this month I read 10 books. 10. That is a record for me. I average about 6, but I got 10 this month, and I think it's because school started, but sports hasn't gotten crazy yet. So it's like this little sweet spot where I found myself with some downtime, and like the testing and stuff hadn't started yet. So I just kept reading and I enjoyed it. So we are going to talk about the books that I read. I did a mix of physical books and ebooks, and we're just going to go by them one by one, but we are going to go in order from my least favorite and end with my favorite. First up is going to be Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Okay, this is a sports romance. The FMC is a diver. The MMC is a swimmer, and it's in college. And I don't know, the romance thread was messy. And I mean, this is a romance book, so that's kind of like the main point of it, but it was messy. And I just don't do messy romance. Like I just don't have the time for it. I am just not here for it. So I did not enjoy that part. But also the part that I thought I would enjoy is like the two of them were sort of bonding over their proclivities that they have when the lights go out, if you know what I'm saying. But that wasn't delivered. Like if this is what the two of you guys are going to bond over, then it needs to be done well. And I need to like at least be like, well, at least that part was good, but I think it was missed. I think there was a miss there with that. It could have been pushed further. And I don't even mean like make it super spicy, but just make it like better, I guess. And there was so much crying also. Just crying and crying and crying, like even in the spicy scenes, just crying here and crying there and crying. And I'm just like, how do you have tears left? I didn't like it. And I felt like not really that invested in their swimming and diving careers. And I don't know if that's a me thing. Maybe I'm just not into sports romance and like the plot centered around them training and competing and things like that. Maybe I just am not into it. I don't know. This is only this is pretty much the first like true sports romance that I've read. So I don't know if maybe that's a me thing because I don't really have anything to compare it to. Emory, my alma mater, did get a shout out. So I did like that. I think that may be my favorite part of the book. The couple lines about Emory. I really enjoyed that part. Coming up next is Sugar Daddies by Jade West. Now, this was me experimenting with the super spicier side of BookTube and Book Talk and kind of seeing kind of like where that line is. And this was definitely very spicy. We've got Rick and Carl that are in a committed relationship and they are successful, attractive men, but they want a third. And they put out an ad on the Sugar Daddy's website. It's not their first time doing it, but they have not had like the best of luck with their experience so far. So they decide to do it again. And Katie replies to the ad. She is, kind of struggling with what to do with her life. She loves horses. She's got her share of daddy issues. She needs money. She wants to like build a ranch and do stuff with horses. And so you put her together with the need for money, the two of them with the need for her body, and then put them together and the rest is history. I do appreciate the author trying to give the characters depth and they have backstories and issues that they're all trying to work through and then they kind of like have to work through them together. So I do appreciate the attempt at that, but I kind of wasn't that interested in it. Now, the spice was spicing. I will say that if you're into that, the guy couple and add in the third, if that's your thing, then you might like this because the spicy scenes I think were probably the best of this. The rest of it was just kind of whatever. Next is Lone Women by Victor LaValle. So this is Adelaide. She, at the very beginning of the book, her parents are unalived and she is burning down the house with their unalivedness inside of it. Then she decides to move from California to Montana and become a homesteader because in Montana in the 1900s, women were able to be homesteaders. She carries an enormous trunk with her that we don't know what is in at the beginning of it. So we have the really cool historical fiction of women homesteaders in Montana. So it's like sort of ending with the sort of the end of the cowboy vibe and more of the homestead vibe. That is cool. I like that. Then there's the horror element about what's in this trunk. That I think also was cool, but my issue was the two of them together. I don't know that the two were like really being fleshed out. Like there needed to be a little bit more of both, I think, or a little bit more of the thriller horror part to balance out how much of the historical fiction part we were getting, because it just kind of felt kind of sprinkled in and they just weren't gelling for me. I think the writing is good though. I did read that this was originally a short story and then it like got expanded, and I could totally, this would be a fire short story, but as a book form being this long, I felt like it definitely could have used a little bit more. Then we have Priest by Sierra Simone. Again, like I said, I was taking a little adventure to the spicier side of things to figure out what would make a 5 chili pepper. And let me tell you, did I find it? This book is crazy spicy. Just look at the cover. The dude with no shirt on with the word priest on it is exactly what this book is about. It is the juxtaposition between uncontrolled desire and a person's faith. Like that is just how you sum this up. And I couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down. I'm not Catholic, so I'm not exactly sure what the rules are and what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do, but I'm pretty sure 90% of this book is a hard no, right? I think it was trying to push the boundary of taboo and seeing, like I said, what you do when you feel like there is someone that you just can't live without, but also you have your faith. And I don't know, I felt a lot of emotions. I felt all the conflicting turmoil inside of the characters in it. I felt happiness, I felt sadness, and at one point, white hot rage. I felt it all. And I was just worn out by the end of it. And looking back on it, I was like, I think I enjoyed that. This is definitely not in my comfort zone, in my wheelhouse. I don't think I'll read anything similar to it for a long time. Then we have Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Boadbent. Now, this is in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. And, you know, they're in duets if you're familiar with the series. But this is a standalone book that comes before the duet that just came out, like the last duet in the series. There will be more after that, but the last that's out so far. So this is not our characters that we normally see. We have an assassin who can't see with her eyes. She sees through the threads. Like it's kind of like a cult type thing that she's joined. And then we have the Vampire Conqueror. And it's just a story about the two of them. And I think it's supposed to be, I don't know because I haven't read the duet after this, but it is supposed to be how they came to be in power of the land that he conquered. If this was just a book that I read just by itself, I don't know how much I would have enjoyed it. But because I've been in this world and I plan to continue in this world, I could definitely appreciate it. My only thing is that when I see vampires, I want them doing vampire things. You know what I mean? Like I want a little bit more of that than what I got in here. And so that would maybe be my own complaint. But the politics I liked, and the battles and the characters, like, yes. Next is Thrashers by Julie Soto. So this is a young adult thriller. They're in high school, and it is very much giving Christopher Pike vibes, the Christopher Pike that I grew up with. And I was very excited about that because I haven't read those books in so long. And I'm like, yes, give me a high school who did it kind of thing. So we've got a group of friends that call themselves, well, they don't call themselves, the other kids in the school call this group the Thrashers after Zach Thrasher, one of the friends in the group. They're like the popular kids. And there's like this new addition that comes like before the book starts. And then in the very first few pages of it, she unalives herself. So most of the book is, why did she do it? Who can be blamed for it? Kind of a mystery discovering what happened, like in her final days, what led her to do it, things like that. And it also has, like a Christopher Pike book does, a supernatural element that gives it a spooky thriller vibe. So I had fun with this. This was a very easy read. You can get it done quickly. You can put it in between bigger fantasies or more complex reads. It was just like very easy to get through. Oh, and I did want to say that at the end of this, I was left with questions. And I don't mean the good questions like, oh, that's something to ponder. I mean like kind of confused questions, which I don't necessarily love. And that's the reason why the 3.5 stars. Next, Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tuli. This book, it is basically Throne of Glass meets the Hunger Games, and it includes characters like Dorian, Kale, Senna, and Effie. And so with those things, also add in some of The Bachelor, and you put all those things together, and you're like, well, is it original? And I would say if you're thinking of each one of those separately, you're probably going to say, no, it is not original. But putting them all together, sure, I don't know a book that has all of them together. Basically, Lore was put into a prison as a child. And then while she's undergoing like a punishment for something she did, she got in a fight with somebody, she gets kidnapped. Kidnappers take her to a different country and put her into the Trial of the Sun Queen, which is a pageant style games and trials. And the winner becomes the Sun Queen, betrothed to the Sun King. But along the way, you can lose your life. Like, these are real consequences in these games and trials. And the games and trials were games and trialing. I think that is why I could not put this book down. You put all that together and it becomes a page turner that you don't want to stop reading. I wanted to know what was going to happen at the end of each trial, what the next trial was going to be, who was going to win, all of those things. The romance in here is not swoon worthy, but I think that's done on purpose. If you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So don't read it for that. Maybe we get romance later, but what's in here is not really the type that we're going to love. But I had a good time with this book. And the best part is that it is a completed series. There are 4 books and they are all out. So you can get to the end of this one and just go right on to the next one. And that makes my heart sing. I am so happy, and I plan to keep reading because I have questions at the end of this, but they are questions that I think are good to have. And I'm hoping that the writing does its job and answers them for me. But I am very intrigued. I did read an e-arc called The Merge by Grace Walker. This is a book about solving the planet's problem of overpopulation and running out of resources by combining 2 people into one. Like one body, the 2 minds. Yeah. Yes, that is what this book is about. I was like, what am I reading? It is definitely a horror vibe. It's not a long book, so it feels more like an episode of Black Mirror. If you're into that show, then you probably would like this book. I really enjoyed this book, and I hope it does well, and I hope you check it out. That was my 3rd favorite book of the month. My 2nd favorite book of the month is The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. I ate this book up. We've got Eric Bloodsinger, who is the king of the Ever, which is the seas. He's a sea fae. He kidnaps the daughter of his enemy, Liv, and they are land fae. So we get a forced proximity politics situation on the brink of war. We get ocean magic, land magic, mist magic, mind magic, spells, curses, all of the magics. And the main characters, Eric and Liv, yes, but the side characters, yes, yes, yes. The found family vibe in this book, you will just love all of the people that you meet. They all have their own personalities, their own sets of magic, and the author does a really good job of walking you through and explaining it, and you don't get confused in any of the world building. I will say, when you finish book 1, you are going to want to go directly into book 2, so plan accordingly. They are going to be a duet, and it's in the same world as the Broken Kingdom series, which I had never heard of before I read these, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't think I missed anything, I may still go back and read it, but you can read these first. They are going to be a duet, but the series, the Ever Seas series, which this duet is in, supposedly is going to be 6 books. But the first 2 are a duet with the same POVs, and then the third book is already out and it's a different story. And I don't know who the other stories are going to be, but we get a duet, and I like that. And my favorite book of the month of August is Chain Gang All-Stars. And I'm going to really try to pronounce this name correctly. Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. Please, if you know how to say this name, please let me know, because I apologize. Names are important. They are very important, and I really want to get them right. So let me know. This book is so good. I haven't done like a full review video on it because I just can't get my thoughts together, because that's just how great it is. I did a mix of reading the physical copy as well as the audiobook when I was like doing carpool and whatever. And then I ended up doing more of the audiobook than the physical book, because there are different voices in the audiobook and there are footnotes in here. And the way that the narrators can bounce between the story and the footnotes, and they also deliver the humor in here with better timing than when I'm reading on my own. I guess I just have bad timing for comedy, but the narrators, both of them, there may be 3, they do that really well. So if you're an audiobook person, I highly recommend it. If not, you can still read the book, and it is good. This book is a dense book. This is not a light, easy read that you're just going to like go and just kind of half pay attention. You're going to have to pay close attention or you're not going to like it. It is a dystopian satire, and that means pay attention. I'm sure you guys know that. Anyway, this book is about if you are a prisoner, instead of serving your sentence, you can fight to the unalive gladiator style. And then if you survive, I think it's like 3 years of doing that, then you can be what they call high freed. But it's also set like in the future. So the technology that's in here is also satirical and funny, because you think of the gladiator setting, but like more futuristic. Like I could just see it on camera, how it would be. I think this would make a really good movie. And then it also, so it has like this commentary on the prison system. And in the footnotes, there are real things happening to real people in our prison system. And that is very disheartening. So it has that aspect of it, but then it also has like the bloodlust of humanity in it. Like the people in the stands screaming while they're watching people literally lose their lives. And then it poses the questions of how we should feel about prisoners. Like, are they only their crimes, or are they people too? And then what if there's a person in there who, say, cost someone their life, but because she was defending her body, if you know what I'm saying? Like, where is the line in all of that? And how do we determine how these criminals / people should be treated? And all of that stuff was just ruminating in my brain. And by the end of it, I was wrecked. Because yes, it is a dystopian satire, but it's kind of also not. And it really makes you just kind of ruminate on like the world that's going on right now. I really recommend this book. This may be one of the best books that I've read the whole year, let alone just in August. So that's my August reading wrap up. Please remember to like and subscribe, and in the comments, tell me what your favorite reads for August were, because I am always looking for people to wreck my TBR.